Hey, I'm Ylem, and today we are talking about why the silence you're desperately craving could actually break your mind completely, and why your brain would rather hallucinate ghosts than sit quietly for 45 minutes. You've been waiting for silence your entire life. Every notification, every meeting, every person talking at you, you've been telling yourself, I just need 1 hour of complete quiet, just one. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The moment you actually get it, real silence, 0 decibels, no hum, no buzz, no distant traffic, something inside you will snap. And within 45 minutes, you will be screaming to get out. Not because the room is dangerous, because you are. Think about yesterday or the day before. You woke up and the first thing you did, before your feet hit the floor, was reach for your phone. Not because you had something important to check, because the silence of the room felt wrong, uncomfortable, like something was missing. You drove to work, music on, you cooked, podcast playing. You even put YouTube on in the background while you watched Netflix. You stacked noise on top of noise because the alternative was terrifying. But you've never asked yourself why. Why does an empty, quiet room feel like a threat? Why does your body physically relax the moment sound fills the air again? What exactly are you running from the moment the noise stops? It comes down to one thing. Your brain was never built for silence. Not modern silence. Not 0 decibel silence. And the cost of forcing it into that silence isn't relaxation. It's a complete psychological unraveling that starts faster than you think. The quietest room on earth exists. People have gone inside it voluntarily, and not one of them walked out the same way they walked in. This is not about noise sensitivity. This is not about introversion or anxiety. This is about something hardwired into every human skull alive, a biological alarm so ancient, so deep, that no amount of meditation retreats or digital detoxes has ever switched it off. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, there is a room that holds the Guinness World Record for the quietest place on Earth, the Orfield Laboratories Anechoic chamber. The walls are lined with deep fiberglass wedges. The steel is doubled. The concrete is reinforced. The background noise level inside is negative 9.4 decibels. Your bedroom at night sits at around 30 decibels. This room is so quiet, the silence has a weight. When people step inside, they go in smiling, expecting calm, expecting that mental spa they've been dreaming of. The heavy steel door clicks shut, and the smile disappears immediately. The first thing they notice is not peaceful. It is a crushing pressure on their eardrums, like the silence itself is pressing inward. Within minutes, your inner ear loses its anchor. Without ambient sound bouncing off walls, your brain can no longer calculate the geometry of the room around you. People who stand up in the dark fall over. Their spatial awareness collapses completely. Then, around the 10-minute mark, the brain panics. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It was built to process constant input. When you starve it, it does not rest. It turns the internal volume up to maximum. And in the world's quietest room, you become the noise. First, you hear your heartbeat, not a gentle thump. The wet, mechanical sound of heart valves physically opening and closing. Then your lungs, the friction of them scraping against your rib cage with every breath. Then your stomach. Then, most terrifyingly, the high-pitched hiss of blood rushing through the veins inside your own skull. You are trapped inside a biological machine you cannot turn off, forced to listen to the grotesque sound of your own survival. By 30 minutes, the brain gives up on organs. It needs patterns, complex ones, so it starts manufacturing them from nothing. This is where the hallucinations begin. People report hearing swarms of bees, distant choirs, and the most common one, the one that makes people slam the panic button immediately, the sound of someone whispering their own name directly into their ear. There's no one there. Your brain chose to fabricate a ghost rather than accept the silence. Most people cannot last 45 minutes before demanding to be let out. Now remember what I said at the start. You've been craving silence. You've been telling yourself that quiet is what you need, that the noise is the problem. But the noise was never the problem. Here's the real truth. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors lived in the wild. And in the wild, absolute silence had exactly one meaning. It meant a predator was close. So close that every insect, every bird, every animal in the forest had frozen in fear. Silence meant death was nearby. That alarm system is still running in your skull right now, in this moment. While you sit in your safe, climate-controlled room, Your ancient brain is still scanning every quiet moment for the predator that no longer exists. So instead, you fill your life with podcasts, music, ambient noise, YouTube autoplay, anything. Not because you love the content, but because the sound tells your nervous system, you are safe. The predator has not arrived. And when the sound stops, when you walk into a quiet room and immediately reach for the remote or your phone, you are not choosing entertainment. You are running from your own thoughts. The philosopher Blaise Pascal wrote in 1654, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He wrote that 370 years ago, before smartphones, before streaming, before earbuds that pump sound into your brain 24 hours a day. Imagine what he would say now. Here is what nobody wants to admit. The silence isn't what breaks people in that room, it's what the silence uncovers. When every distraction evaporates, when every escape is blocked, what rises to the surface is the thing you have been most successfully avoiding: your own unedited mind. Your regrets, the decisions you haven't made, the version of yourself you keep promising you'll become. The noise wasn't keeping you company, it was keeping that away from you. The anechoic chamber doesn't destroy people with silence, it destroys them with honesty. And that is why you reach for your phone in a quiet room. Not boredom, not habit. You reach because you are afraid of what you might hear when the world finally stops talking. And you are left alone with the one voice you cannot mute: your own. So here is my question for you today. What is the one thought you are most afraid of hearing in the silence? The one thing you have been successfully drowning out with noise? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want to explore more of the strange, uncomfortable truths about the human mind, subscribe, because the next video is going to make you question something you do every single day.